Chosen one, this is not a coincidence. You didn't just happen to find this message. Heaven placed it before you because there's something vital your spirit must hear right now. This moment is divine appointment. What you are about to receive carries the power to protect everything God has been nurturing within you. Every seed of destiny, every sacred dream still forming in the unseen. Listen carefully, beloved. The enemy has been warring not against what you've done, but against what's still growing inside you. He's been trying to steal your promise before it even breathes its first breath. And often, the weapon he uses isn't what you fear, it's what you overlook. Your words. Proverbs 18:21 says, "Death and life are in the power of the tongue." Every careless sentence, every confession of doubt can become an open door. God has entrusted you with something holy, something he whispered in the quiet hours when it was just you and him. A vision, a promise, a purpose so divine that when it first entered your spirit, it made you tremble. You felt seen, chosen, alive. In your excitement, you shared it. You spoke about the calling, painted the picture, told people who you thought would celebrate your breakthrough. But the moment your sacred revelation left your lips, the atmosphere shifted. You noticed it, didn't you? The change in their eyes, the smile that didn't reach their spirit. Some praised you with words but doubted you in their hearts. Others withdrew, quietly distancing themselves. And a few, the ones closest to you, began to speak doubt over what God had already spoken life into. Now you feel it, this inner stirring, this divine discomfort. It's not anxiety, it's not overthinking, it's discernment awakening inside you. God is teaching you to protect what's still being formed, just as Mary pondered these things in her heart. Luke 2:19. You too must guard your promise in silence until its appointed time. What's growing within you is holy, and heaven is saying it's time to protect it. Heaven has been echoing the same message to you again and again. And now, in this very moment, that gentle whisper becomes a divine command. Be still. Protect what's sacred. Guard the holy ground of your destiny. There's a time to speak and a time to be silent. When the angel told Mary she would carry the Son of God, she didn't rush into the streets announcing her miracle. She didn't seek validation or understanding from those who couldn't comprehend what heaven had conceived within her. Instead, as Luke 2:19 tells us, Mary kept all these things and pondered them in her heart. She nurtured the promise in quiet trust. She allowed the supernatural to take root in silence until the fullness of time arrived. This isn't about hiding from fear, it's about walking in wisdom. Proverbs 25:2 says, "It is the glory of God to conceal a matter." What God is doing in you is too precious to be prematurely exposed. Gold is refined in the hidden heat of the furnace. Seeds break open in the unseen soil before bursting into the light, and every child of promise grows in the secret place of the womb before the world ever sees their face. Everything divine is developed in darkness before it is revealed in glory. Chosen one, you are in that divine incubation season. God is shaping what eyes haven't seen, what ears haven't heard, and what hearts can't yet imagine. But lately, you've been unveiling what heaven asked you to keep veiled. You've been explaining when you were meant to expand in silence. You've been defending what God himself is capable of proving. And each time you reveal too soon, you invite noise into a process meant to remain sacred between you and your Creator. Hear this clearly. Your dreams are not mere ambitions. Your visions are not wishful thoughts. Your calling is not a career, it's a covenant. These are divine blueprints carrying heaven's fingerprints. They are set apart, marked by eternity, and entrusted to your care. So, guard them well, beloved. Handle them with reverence, because when the appointed hour comes, what God has been forming in secret will rise unshakable, radiant, and undeniable before the world. Think for a moment about Joseph, a young man, pure in heart, handpicked by God, entrusted with dreams that carried glimpses of his destiny, visions so radiant that even he could barely comprehend their magnitude. In those dreams, he saw himself elevated, standing in a position of divine authority, while those closest to him bowed in reverence. These were not fantasies, they were prophetic previews of what heaven had already written. But Joseph, in his youthful excitement, spoke too soon. He revealed what was meant to remain hidden, and the moment his dreams left his lips, everything began to shift. What was holy became misunderstood. What was meant to prepare him provoked jealousy. Those who loved him couldn't grasp the greatness God had placed within him. Their hearts weren't ready to carry what his spirit was carrying, and so betrayal was born. His brother's envy cast him into a pit, sold him into slavery, and set him on a road that led to false accusation and imprisonment. Not because the dream was wrong, but because its timing was. The vision was divine, but the revelation came too early. Yet, even through betrayal and bondage, God's hand never left Joseph. Genesis 50-20 reminds us, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good." The detour didn't destroy the destiny, it refined it. The promise remained intact because heaven's plan is never dependent on human approval, but his path became longer and more painful because what should have been private was spoken too soon. Chosen one, hear this. Your dreams are real. Your vision is valid. Your calling is confirmed. But not every heart around you is prepared to understand what God is building in you. This isn't about pride or secrecy, it's about spiritual stewardship. When you hand sacred things to unready hearts, even good people can unknowingly become instruments of delay. So if you felt the pull to withdraw, the divine nudge to move in silence, that's not fear, it's wisdom. You're not cold, you're maturing. You're not distant, you're discerning. God is teaching you to protect what's precious. Exodus 14:14 says, "The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." This isn't rejection, it's preservation. Heaven is saying, be still, stay hidden, and let me finish what I started in you until it's time for the world to see. Jesus understood the sacred power of silence. Again and again throughout his ministry, we see moments where he performed miracles, opened blind eyes, restored the broken, even raised the dead, and then said something astonishing, "Tell no one." Imagine that. The Savior of the world, whose mission was to reveal the kingdom of heaven, often chose concealment over publicity. Why? Because even the Son of God knew that revelation without divine timing invites resistance. Premature exposure attracts interference. When a miracle is revealed too early, it can become misunderstood, misused, or opposed before its purpose is fulfilled. Jesus modeled wisdom in restraint. He wasn't hiding out of fear. He was protecting the purity of the process. Ecclesiastes 3-7 reminds us, "There is a time to be silent and a time to speak." He knew when to reveal and when to remain still. And if even Christ, the one who carried all authority, walked with such discernment, how much more must we guard what God is forming within us? This season of silence you're in is not a punishment, it's preparation. It's not emptiness, it's incubation. The quiet places are where heaven does its deepest work. In silence, clarity sharpens. In solitude, discernment deepens. When the noise fades, you begin to hear what truly matters, not the world's opinions, but God's instructions. The noise shapes your performance. The silence transforms your identity. Daniel understood this principle well. When God revealed visions that shaped empires and foretold generations, Scripture says he kept the matter to himself. Daniel 7:28. He didn't broadcast it, debate it, or seek validation for it. He held it until heaven released it, because true revelation doesn't need recognition to remain powerful. It only needs obedience to unfold at the right time. And this, chosen one, is where many stumble. You think everyone who asks deserves an answer. You think curiosity equals concern, but your divine assignments are not open for public discussion. Your sacred encounters aren't meant to be dissected by people who lack spiritual context. Proverbs 4:23 says, "Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it." Guarding your heart also means guarding your revelation. Let this truth settle deep in your spirit. Not everyone who asks about your plans is rooting for your success. Some inquire not from love, but from comparison. They want details to measure themselves against you or to quietly predict your downfall. And when you over-explain, you give access to voices that were never meant to influence your path. So be wise, be selective. There's a difference between transparency and exposure, between openness and foolishness. God is teaching you to distinguish your inner circle from your audience. Your inner circle walks with you through the process. Your audience celebrates once it's done. Right now, heaven is shrinking the number of people who know your secrets because it's about to multiply the number who will witness your victory. The same God who sealed your lips for a season is preparing to place a crown upon your head. Stay silent, stay faithful, and watch Him reveal what only silence could prepare. In this sacred season, God is teaching you the art of divine stillness, how to remain silent so He can be your voice, how to rest in peace so He can clear the path before you. He's shaping your spirit to become a trusted keeper of heaven's mysteries, to hold revelation like precious oil, pure, powerful, and never to be poured out before its appointed time. Each time you sense that quiet tug in your spirit, that whisper saying, "Not yet. Keep this between us." Know that it isn't hesitation born of fear, it's preservation born of favor. It's heaven wrapping a veil of protection around what He's still perfecting. That restraint you feel is not delay, it's divine strategy. For sometimes, silence is not the absence of movement, but the sacred shield that keeps your promise safe until God Himself chooses to reveal it. And yes, it feels uncomfortable. Especially for those of you who have always processed out loud, who love to share, connect, include others in your journey. You've always been transparent because your heart is pure. But now, heaven is inviting you into a higher level of maturity, one that doesn't explain everything but trusts everything. What feels like isolation is actually elevation. What feels unnatural to your flesh is alignment for your spirit. Psalm 46:10 says, "Be still and know that I am God." Stillness is not inactivity, it's strategy. When you stop oversharing your dreams, they're no longer vulnerable to the doubt of others. When you stop explaining your visions, they stop being filtered through other people's limitations. When you stop defending your calling, your energy is freed to fulfill it. When you stop chasing validation for what heaven already confirmed, you reclaim authority over your own destiny. Your silence becomes your shield. Your mystery becomes your defense. Your privacy becomes your weapon. The enemy has always used words as his weapon. He studies your speech, waits for your declarations, and twists them in moments of weakness. Proverbs 21:23 reminds us, "Whoever keeps his mouth and his tongue keeps himself out of trouble." The enemy takes what you spoke in faith and turns it into accusation when your timeline doesn't match your expectation. He uses premature announcements to make you doubt what God said. He uses your openness to feed the mouths of those who secretly compete with you. But when you stay quiet, you disarm him. When you let God move without commentary, you close every door he could use. Silence confuses hell. Privacy frustrates demons. Discretion is spiritual warfare in disguise. Some of your current struggles trace back to conversations you never should have had. You shared your business idea and suddenly someone copied it. You told someone about your relationship and they sowed seeds of doubt. You declared your breakthrough and resistance immediately rose up. This isn't coincidence, it's consequence. When sacred information enters unclean environments, it becomes exposed to contamination. But here's the beautiful turnaround. The moment you begin to guard what's holy, heaven accelerates what's hidden. The moment you protect your promise with silence, the process gains speed. What was stuck begins to flow. What was delayed starts to manifest. What was clouded becomes clear. Because now, there's no interference, no extra voices digging up the seed God is trying to grow. Heaven is whispering to you right now, you don't need to report everything. You need to rest. Stop explaining and start trusting. Stop announcing and start abiding. For in the quiet, I am completing what I began. In your stillness, I am securing your future. Heaven is whispering to you right now. Stop announcing and start advancing. Stop explaining and start experiencing. What God is doing inside you is too sacred, too strategic, too perfectly timed to be handled by human opinion. This work must remain between you and Him until the day of unveiling. And when that day arrives, and it will, you won't have to say a word. The evidence will speak louder than any explanation. The fruit will testify. The glory will be your witness. The results will silence every critic, and the manifestation will confirm every hidden prayer. You won't need to defend your journey, because God Himself will be your defense. You won't need to justify your process, because the blessing will justify you. Psalm 37:6 says, He will make your righteousness shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun. When the light breaks, it will be undeniable who was with you in the shadows. But until then, heaven requires your cooperation, your trust, your silence, your obedience. Some of you are standing at the threshold of doors you've prayed for your whole life. Yet before you walk through, God is asking one question. Can you hold the promise without posting it? Can you walk in victory without needing validation? Can you experience breakthrough without broadcasting every detail of how it came to pass? This is the test of stewardship. This is how heaven knows you're ready for more. Because everything God deposits in private is preparation for what He intends to display in public. But if you reveal what should remain hidden, you risk forfeiting the power meant for your appointed time. The platform is being prepared, but first the person must be purified. The audience is coming, but the intimacy must be established. Luke 16:10 says, Whoever can be trusted with little can also be trusted with much. This season of silence isn't punishment, it's preservation. It's not distance from destiny, it's divine development. God isn't limiting your influence, He's protecting it from dilution. You are being aged like fine wine refined in stillness, perfected in darkness, sealed until ready. Think about it. The finest wines are kept in silence, away from light and noise, until the process is complete. Open the barrel too soon, and the wine turns sour. In the same way, if you expose what God is maturing before its time, you diminish its power. But not this time. Now you understand the value of hiddenness. You are the vintage heaven is crafting, and when you're poured out, it will be perfection. From this day forward, let this truth anchor in your spirit. What God is shaping in private is far too precious to be displayed prematurely. Heaven's fingerprints are all over your process, and it deserves protection, not publicity. Look back for a moment. Reflect on the last several months of your life. Haven't you noticed the pattern? Each time you shared something sacred too soon, resistance followed. That business idea you excitedly announced suddenly fell apart. That relationship you spoke about publicly met unexpected turbulence. That ministry dream you unveiled lost momentum right after you described it in detail. Even the financial breakthrough you testified about seemed to stall. Can you see it now? Your words were creating exposure before your blessing was ready to stand on its own. You were revealing treasures that hadn't yet been fortified, and the moment they became visible, they attracted warfare. It's like announcing to thieves the exact hour you'll be carrying gold. You unknowingly marked yourself as a target by revealing what should have stayed concealed until heaven declared, "Now." But here's the beauty of grace. God is offering you a reset. He's restoring what was delayed, renewing what was damaged, and redeeming the time you thought was lost. This time, He's whispering, "Do it differently. Build in silence. Move in secret. Let me bring it forth while you rest in trust, not while you broadcast in excitement." This is the mark of spiritual maturity. Proverbs 17:27 says, "The one who has knowledge uses words with restraint." Young believers need to tell everything they know. Mature believers know what to hold. Young faith seeks validation. Mature faith finds peace in stillness. Young prophets declare every revelation. Mature prophets discern what to reveal and what to seal. And right now, you are transitioning from excitement to wisdom, from visibility to discernment, from exposure to depth. Your growth is showing in the quiet you're embracing. The new you isn't louder, it's deeper. The evidence of your transformation is the silence that feels like strength, the discretion that feels like peace, the mystery that feels like maturity. Not everyone will understand it. Some will say you've changed. Others will accuse you of pride or distance. But your purpose is not to manage their perception, it's to protect God's process. And as you walk in this sacred restraint, something supernatural begins to happen. The heaviness of explanation will lift. The constant need to prove yourself will fade. You'll stop carrying the weight of being understood and start resting in the freedom of being chosen. You'll realize that your private conversations with God are not for public consumption. Psalm 91:1 says, "He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty." That's where your strength will be renewed. Soon you'll notice a shift, subtle but powerful. Doors will open with ease. Provision will flow without striving. Opportunities will align naturally. Relationships will strengthen without explanation. Why? Because you've stopped inviting interference through premature exposure. You've stopped giving the enemy blueprints of what God is still building. Now, you're moving with heaven in rhythm, quietly but powerfully. Jesus modeled this perfectly. Matthew 6:6 says, "When you pray, go into your room, close the door, and pray to your Father who is unseen. Then your Father, who sees what is done in secret, will reward you openly." The secret place is where power is stored. Hidden seasons are where glory is cultivated. Private obedience births public miracles. So, if you're in a season where everything feels hidden, where nothing seems to be happening outwardly, where you feel unseen by people but surrounded by God, rejoice. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. You're not being forgotten. You're being fortified. You're not being overlooked. You're being overhauled. You're in the secret workshop of heaven, the incubation chamber of destiny. Stop fighting the hiddenness. Stop rushing the process. The butterfly doesn't tear its cocoon open. It waits until its wings are ready. The seed doesn't resist the soil. It trusts the darkness to do its work. The baby doesn't rush the birth. It grows until the moment of release. There's a divine order to your transformation. And right now, God is saying, "Stay still while I finish you. Stay silent while I form you. Stay hidden while I prepare you. Because when the unveiling comes, and no one will doubt that it was my hand that made it happen. Your only task right now is to be still, to trust, to wait, to guard, and to protect what God is doing in your life until He says, 'Now.' When that moment comes, you'll feel it deep in your spirit. The release will be unmistakable, the permission undeniable, the timing divine. Until then, hold what He's given you close. Keep it sacred. Guard it fiercely. Let your dreams rest beneath the warmth of heaven's presence instead of under the cold gaze of human opinion. Let your visions grow in the quiet darkness of divine mystery, not in the harsh light of premature exposure. Let your calling take root in the deep soil of preparation, not in the shallow ground of performance. Psalm 27:14 says, "Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart, and wait for the Lord." This waiting isn't punishment, it's positioning. It's where champions are formed, not in the applause of the crowd, but in the discipline of the secret place. It's where legends are born, not through noise, but through nurturing. And you, beloved, are in that very place. God is preparing you for something monumental, something so profound that heaven itself has slowed the pace of your life to shape you carefully. He's teaching you how to hold your tongue so He can open your future. He's training you in divine discretion so He can trust you with divine authority. He's showing you that when you learn to be silent about small things, He can make your voice thunder in the significant things. Proverbs 3-6 reminds us, "In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He shall direct your paths." The platform is coming, but the preparation demands privacy. The microphone is being crafted for your hand, but first, you must master the power of restraint. Heaven is testing your ability to hold a secret before trusting you to carry a sound. This message reached you today because you're standing on the edge of breakthrough. You're crossing a threshold that requires a new way of walking, one marked not by speaking, but by listening. In this next season, what you don't say will matter as much as what you do say. So here's your assignment, chosen one: practice sacred silence. When people ask what God is doing, share the testimony of what He's already completed, not the preview of what He's preparing. When they inquire about your plans, speak of principles, not specifics. When they ask about your next move, simply say, "I'm waiting on God." Because you are. You're moving at heaven's pace. Guard your dreams like jewels. Protect your visions like seedlings. Shield your calling as the sacred commission it is. Not everyone deserves access. Not everyone needs understanding. Some things are too holy for public conversation. Ecclesiastes 3-7 says, "There is a time to keep silence and a time to speak." Right now, your time is silence. And as you embrace this divine discipline, you'll see transformation unfold before your eyes. Watch how the chaos quiets. Watch how the right doors open without force. Watch how provision appears without panic. Watch how relationships align with peace instead of confusion. Watch how faith deepens, how strength renews, how joy returns. Because when you stop exposing the process, heaven can finally complete it. This is your sacred season of stillness, the holy pause before the unveiling. And heaven is standing beside you, whispering, "Hold it close, keep it holy, guard it well." The time of revealing is coming soon, but the silence is your greatest protection. The mystery is your preparation. The hidden place is your foundation. Stand tall in your stillness. Walk confidently in your quiet strength. Rest peacefully in your privacy. Trust completely that what God is building in secret will be worth every moment of silence. Isaiah 64:4 declares, "No eye has seen any God besides you who acts for those who wait for Him." Chosen one, your silence is not weakness, it's wisdom. Your privacy is not pride, it's protection. Your mystery is not distance, it's maturity. Walk in it, rest in it, trust it. Because when the moment comes for you to speak, you won't have to demand attention. Heaven itself will command it. And when that day arrives, the glory will be undeniable. The power will be unstoppable. The purpose will be unshakable. Until then, be still, be quiet, be faithful. And if this word resonates in your spirit, if you know God is calling you into this season of sacred silence, type Amen below. Let heaven see your agreement. Let this be your declaration that you're ready to protect what's holy, to trust what's hidden, and to walk faithfully in the quiet power of God's timing. Because the best is yet to come, and it's coming through the sacred strength of your silence.